have many of our regulars. Welcome if you are coming through our live stream. It is always a pleasure to share Shabbat services with you. We are on page 194, if you'll join with me in the Hebrew. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et adam bechokma, uvara bo nekavim, chalulim. גלוי וידוע לפני חיפשי כבודיך, שאם יפתח אחד מהם, או יסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר, ומפליע לעשות. אלוהי, נשמה שנתת בי לאוראי, אתה אתה יצרת, אתה נבחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי. מודה אני לפניך, אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותי, מודה אני לפניך, אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות. ברוך אתה אדוני, אשר בידו נפש כל חי, ברוח כל בשר איש. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לשכלי בינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, פוקח עברי.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, זוקף כפופים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, רוקע הארץ על המים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המכין מצעדי גבר.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מלביש ערומים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, הנותן לעייף כוח.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המעביר קינה מעיני ותנומה מעפעפה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלם אלוהים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בן חורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה. וערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו, ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל, and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you by studying your Torah for no other reason than for its own sake. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who teaches Torah to your people Israel.
אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, ואלו אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, אלו דברים שלהם שיעור, ואלו
Ivot Avahem, U'Gimilut Asarim, find by experience, not by reasoning, but by my own discovery that God is near me, and I can be near God at all times. I cannot explain it, but I am as sure of my experience as I am of the fact that I live and love. I cannot explain how I have come to live and love, but I know I do. In the same way, I know that I am in contact with God. Page 212, the beginning of Psukei de Zimra. Baruch Shamar v'aya olam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Yosef, Baruch Gozer u'Mekayem, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Meshalem Zachatot li'Reah, Baruch Chaylad, V'kayam lanetzach, Baruch Bodeh u'Matzil, Baruch Shemo. B'shvachot u'b'zmirot nigadelecha v'neshovechecha, v'neva'erecha v'nezkar shimcha, v'namlichecha malkeinu Eloheinu, Yahachid Cheolamim, Melech Meshubach u'Mevoar, Adei Ad Shemo HaGadol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Melech Me'olal Batishvachot. Blessed you, Eternal One, Sovereign who is glorified through praise. Page 214. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד יעללוך סלה.
אשרי העם שקרא לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
תהילה לדוד, הרוממך אלוהי המלך, ועברך שמך לעולם ועד.
בכל יום אברכך, ועלה שמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, ולגדולתו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
הדר כבודותיך, ודברי נפלאותיך אשיך.
ועזוז נורותיך יאמרו, וגדולתך אספרנה.
זכר רב טובך יביעו, וצדקתך ירננו.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל, ורחמיו על כל מעשיו.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני חולליך יספרו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורא, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון ירב יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע והושיעם.
שומר אדוני כל הבא, ואת כל השעים ישמיע.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו
נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה. תפאר ותרומם זכרך מלכנו תמיד מן העולם ועד העולם אתה אל אין לנו מלך אלא אתה. You'll join with me in the English at the bottom of the page. Let the soul of everything alive bless your name, eternal our God. And the spirit of all flesh glorify and exalt your name forever, O sovereign, transcending space and time. You alone are God. We have no sovereign beside you. God of the first and the last, God of all creatures, God of all generations, who is praised in a multitude of praises, who guides the world with abundant loving kindness, and all creatures with mercy. The Eternal One neither slumbers nor sleeps. God awakens the sleeping, arouses those who slumber, gives speech to the mute, and God loosens the bonds of captives, supports the fallen, and strengthens those who are bent over. You alone do we acknowledge. And so even if our mouths were full of the song of the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the sky's expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, if our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like young deer, we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a 10,000th of the many myriads of times you granted favors to our ancestors as well as to us. And so therefore these limbs which you have formed in us, and this spirit and soul that you have breathed into our nostrils, this tongue which you have set in our mouths, they must acknowledge, bless, praise and glorify your name, O our sovereign. For every mouth will acknowledge you, and every tongue pledge homage to you, and every knee bend in your presence. Every upright person shall bow before you, every heart will revere you, and every inmost thought will sing to your name. As the psalmist wrote, let all my bones explain, who is like you, O God? And as David continued, bless the Eternal One, O my soul, and let my inner being praise your holy name. האל בתעצומות עוזך, הגדול בכבוד שמך, הגיבור לנצח והנורא בנורתך, המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא, שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו, וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני, לישרים נאווה תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל, ורינה יתפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, עוז וממשלה, נצח גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול ותשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנבלעות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אלכי עולמים. We rise on page 224 for the Chatzi Kaddish and the Baruchu, the call to prayer. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא נברא חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחיי חון וביומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה כל יצחק גרים ואמרו אמן יהי שמרה מבורך לעולם עולם בהבניה יתברך וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמרגולשה ברכו לילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה כל שמחתה ונחמתה לאמירת בעלמא ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל, המאיר לארץ ולדרים עליה ברחמים, ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית. מה רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלאה הארץ ענייניך. תתברך אדוני אלוהינו, על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארוך סלה. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצר המאורות. How deeply you have loved us, eternal our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, lehavin ulhaskil, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah, focus our minds on your mitzvot, unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Baruch Ata Adonai, Abocher Ba'amo Yisrael Ba'hava. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who chooses your people Israel in love. Shema Yisrael. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובחומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתלתי תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. At the bottom of page 239, if you'll join with me in English. The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart, the stranger that lives amongst you. shall be accepted as your equal, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor, upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High, blessed is God, deserving of blessing. As is our tradition, we chant the first three of the benedictions as a community, and then we'll continue seated. Page 242, the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach, ofi yagid teilatecha. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו בעמה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. צומח נופלים ורובה חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך מימית ומחיי ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם צל מקדישים אותו לשמך, כך כתוב על יד ימיניך, וכרזה אעשה ואמר. קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני דור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. We continue on page 250 with Yismichu. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our readiness. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, our eternal God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who sanctifies Shabbat. רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ותפילתם באהבה תקבל ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך אל קרוב לכל קוראיו פני אל עובדיך וחוננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון ברוך. Blessed are you, Eternal One, whose presence returns to Zion. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך ועל נשמותינו וקודות לך ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו ועל נפלאותיך וטובתך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים, הטוב כי לא כלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם כי הבינו לה. ועל כולם, ועל כולם, יתברך ויתרומם, יתברך ויתרומם, שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד, ועל כולם, ועל כולם, יתברך ויתרומם, יתברך ויתרומם, שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד. בכל החיים יודו חסלה ויעללו את שמך באמת, האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו, עזרתנו סלע. ועל כולם, ועל כולם, יתברך ויתרומם, יתברך ויתרומם, שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, הטוב שמך, ולך, ולך נאה להודות. Blessed you, Eternal One, your name is goodness, and you truly are worthy of thanksgiving. Page 258, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova u'bracha, Tova, Tova u'bracha. Sim Shalom, Tova u'bracha, Tova, Tova u'bracha. Sim Shalom, Tova u'bracha, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו, עלינו, ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, טובה, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, טובה, טובה וברכה. ברכנו אבינו, כולנו כאחד באור פניך. ברכנו אבינו, כולנו כאחד מאור פניך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, טובה, טובה וברכה. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, טובה, טובה וברכה. כי באור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך שים שלום טובה וברכה טובה טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה וברכה טובה טובה וברכה ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל השלום. We take a moment of silent prayer or meditation, whether using the words of our prayer books or the words of our hearts. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Say shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Say shalom bimromav uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Page 362, 362. We begin with Seder Kriyat Torah le Shabbat, the order for reading the Torah on Shabbat. En kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ben keva'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor va'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Zemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Unerambema Shemo, Yachdav, Lecha Adonai HaGedula, Ve'agula Ve'ativeret, Ve'anetzach Ve'aod, Yichol HaShamayim ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, והדין נעשה לכל לראש, לך אדוני הגדולה, והגדולה והתפארת, והנצח וההוד, יכול השמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, מתנשא לכל לראש, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, וישחררו לעד קודשו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, וישחררו לעד קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
Please be seated. And so we are in Parashat Chukat. Parashat Chukat begins in the cloud commentary we're going to be on page 1160, I believe. And our first learner will be Caroline Paz. And for our first aliyah, we invite Yamod Ari Ben Aron Ve'adina Yehudit Rishon La'aliyah LaTorah. So we are going to be at verse 11 and onwards, which you will find actually on 1161, third line down, third last word. Third line down, third last word. Are you going to touch just here with tzitzit and say the brachot? Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaisu me'ofot ve'yachanu ve'iyeh ha'avarim b'midbar asher al pnei Moav mimitzrach hashamesh misham nasa'u ve'yachanu ve'nochal zareh Misham Nasau ויחנו מעבר ארנון אשר במדבר היוצא מגבול האמורי כי ארנון גבול מואב בין מואב
ובין האמורי. חזק.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet mechayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה. May God who bless our ancestors bless you, Ari, who comes to Torah in honor of Shabbat, in honor of this community, in honor of all the work that you have done over this past year. For those who don't know, this is Ari's final service with us here at Temple Beth Israel. He will be with us for those who are at Shir Chadash next weekend, and then he flits off to New Zealand, and then comes back for a night or two and gets on a plane and returns to his home in Florida. And may you be blessed with so many more Shabbatot in so many different places. You have truly been a blessing to us, especially to me, I will selfishly say, because you've been a pillar this year. Whether it's the learning in the first few weeks of arriving here, Torah trope and Torah laning, and how to train all the bar mitzvah kids, and all the music that you've done with the ensemble, or with Ruach, or with Kol Simcha, or with the TBI choir, or with so many other groups, or Bubs and Bagels, or Tot Shabbat, or KDS, or family services. Most of us don't see all these things because we only see one or two things that you do, whether it's services or choirs or whatever it might be. You have been a pillar of this community for the last year, and I'd like to say that I will miss you, and I like to think that everyone here will sorely miss you, but we wish for you all the best in your journey onwards. Many, many wonderful achievements and more years of richness and fulfillment and growth. Hopefully this has been an incredibly meaningful and fulfilling year for you. May you go from strength to strength. Know that you will be missed, and know that you have a home away from home here anytime you want to come down under. Shabbat Shalom. Come to this side. For our second Aliyah, in honor of Ari, I'm going to invite all of the members of the Ruach choir, as well as Joel, who's accompanying, to come to Torah. And I'm going to invite, Caroline is leading the second Aliyah, thank you, to go on at verse 14, which you will find on page 1161, left-hand column, second line from the top, last word. Caroline, could you point to where we're beginning so everyone can touch with the tzitzit? Okay, so if you'll all join together in the blessing before the Torah.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bracha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Didn't they do that musically? Ari, can you hold this?
Amen. Al ken yema besefer milchamot Adonai efe sufa ve'et hanchalim anon ve'eshet hanchalim asher nata leshevet ar v'nishan לגבול מואב, ומשם בעירה היא הבאר, אשר אמר אדוני למשה, אסוף את העם ואת
Ma'i Chizki. And the blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishbarach Avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless each of you who come to Torah in honor of Shabbat, in honor of Torah, in honor of Ari, who we have all had the pleasure of working with throughout the year, but also in honor of all the work that each and every one of you do, arriving here punctually at 9 a.m. or Friday nights at 5:15, like clockwork. These are the people who lead our service. You are the ones who lead our community in song. Whether you're sitting at the front with microphones or whether you're scattered inside the congregation, because we can hear you and it boosts the whole service. I must say, as service leaders, when we're up here and no one's singing, it's like, hello. And when you are here, we hear you and we love to hear you. May your voices go from strength to strength. May you always be led by fantastic leaders such as Ari. May we always share this love of music and this love of Torah and this love of Judaism together. And we say, Amen. Mazel tov. Come to the side. As is our tradition, we do move from celebration to a moment of memory. If you are here at a time of Shivat, Shloshim, or the yahrzeit of a loved one, then this aliyah is for you. Please come forward at this time. Rena will continue laning for us. We will be at verse 17. Yeah, I'm just finding where we're going to be. We are on page 1162, right-hand column, second line, second word in. 1162, right-hand column, second line, second word in. We're just going to point to where we're beginning. Okay. And the blessing before the Torah. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Just before you begin, this is a truly unusual piece of Torah. There are several times in the Torah when the Torah specifies we are singing a song. This is one of them, but it's not laid out as a song. So if you think of Shirat Hayam, the Michamocha, the Song of the Sea, or you think of Ha'azinu, those are two completely different layouts. Here, if you look at the translation, then Israel sang this song, "Spring up, O well, sing to it." So it's got a dash because it's in poetry. The well which the chieftains dug, which the nobles of the people started, with maces with their own staves, from Midbar, Matana, and from Matana to Nachaliel, and from Nachaliel to Bamot, and from Bamot to the valley that is in the country of Moab, at the peak of Pisgah, overlooking the wasteland. This is a poem and a song, but unusually is not laid out in the Torah as a song. Nevertheless, Rena will chant for us this morning.
אז ישיר ישראל את השירה הזאת, עלי ואר אנולה. באר הפרו הזרים, קרוה נדיבי העם, במחוקי במשענותם וממדבר במתנה וממדבר מתנה נחליאל ומנחליאל במות במות הגיא אשר בשדה מואב ראש הפסגה ונזקפה על פניי
His key and the blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishberach avotenu v'imotenu Abraham, Yitzhak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May God who bless our ancestors bless each of you who comes to the Torah in honor of Shabbat, in honor of Torah, but most importantly in honor of memory. And so take a moment and think of loved ones no longer here. We recognize that there is a gap, a vacuum that cannot be filled. And so we remember them and we cherish the memories and we cherish the influence that they shared. We cherish the family that they shared, the love and the experiences that they shared. May those memories inspire us to greater goodness, richness, love. May their memories in this way truly be for a blessing. And may those memories always be cherished and never dim. Though we cannot console, we can remember, we can cherish, and we can hold them dear in our hearts. May their memories truly be for a blessing, and we say, Amen. As is our tradition in the presence of Torah, we turn to page 371 to share the blessing for those amongst us in need of healing. Page 371. Adira bat Rachel, Bella Magid, Chana bat Dora, Mel Wright, Yuda Kostenko, Rosemary Moore, Morris Ma, Douglas Simons, Rachel Caruthas, Fred Selling, Diana Bliss, Maurice Morris Elijah, Barbara Morrison, Gary Kupel, Mordechai Ben Zipporah, and Alison Hall. If there are other names you would like to add to these, please do so as I look around the room. and Galila, and we invite Ken and Rosie to come up to raise the Torah and to address the Torah.
The Haftarah this morning has the same language as the Torah portion, obviously from the same time. If you had been watching the text, you would have seen the Torah portion has blank bits because the tradition got fragmented. Here, there is a very big blank piece at the very end. The tradition is to sort of soften it by putting in verses that really didn't follow the end. The end is horrific, and therefore the Bible doesn't fill it in, it hesitates. And it's the story of a larrikin who grows up and suddenly people remember that he can be useful, and the larrikin agrees to help. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha b'milim tovim ratzav divrehem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. So it's page 1268 and following. And it's from the book of Judges. And it tells a story of negotiation about boundaries in the Middle East. Jephthah the Gileadite was an able warrior who was the son of a prostitute, and Jephthah's father was Gilead. But Gilead also had sons by his wife. And when the wife's sons grew up, they drove Jephthah, their stepbrother, out. They said to him, "You shall have no share in our father's property, for you are the son of an outsider." So Jephthah fled from his brothers and settled in the country of Tob. Men of low character gathered around Jephthah, and they went out raiding with him. Sometime later, the Ammonites went to war against Israel. And when the Ammonites attacked Israel, the elders of Gilead went to bring Jephthah back from the Tob country. They said to Jephthah, "Come, be our Rosh, our chief, so that we can fight the Ammonites." And Jephthah replied to the elders of Israel, "But you are the very people who rejected me and drove me out of my father's house. How can you come to me now when you are in trouble?" And the elders of Gilead said to Jephthah, "Honestly, we have now turned back to you. If you come with us and fight the Ammonites, you shall be our commander over all the inhabitants of the tribe of Gilead." Jephthah said to the elders of Gilead, "Very well. If you bring me back to fight the Ammonites and the Lord delivers them to me, I am to be your commander." And the elders of Gilead answered Jephthah, "The Lord himself shall be witness between us. We will do just as you have said." Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him their commander-in-chief. And Jephthah repeated all these terms before the Lord at Mitzvah. Jephthah then sent messages to the king of the Ammonites, saying, "What have you against me, that you have come to make war on my country?" The king of the Ammonites replied to Jephthah's messages, "When Israel came from Egypt, they seized the land which is mine, from the Arnon to the Yabbok, as far as the Jordan. Now then, restore it peacefully." Jephthah then again sent messengers to the king of the Ammonites. He said to him, "Thus said Jephthah, Israel did not seize the land of Moab or the land of the Ammonites. When they left Egypt, Israel traveled through the wilderness to the Sea of Reeds and went on to Kadesh." Israel then sent messengers to the king of Edom and said, "Allow us to cross your country." But the king of Edom would not consent. They also sent a mission to the king of Moab, and he refused. So Israel, after staying at Kadesh, traveled on through the wilderness, skirting the land of Edom, the land of Moab. They kept to the east of the land of Moab until they encamped on the other side of the Arnon. And since Moab ends at Arnon, which is a river, they never entered Moabite territory. Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. Israel said to him, "Allow us to cross through your country to our homeland." But Sihon would not trust Israel to pass through his territory. And Sihon mustered all his troops, and they encamped at Yahaz and engaged Israel in battle. But the Lord, the God of Israel, delivered Sihon and all his troops into Israel's hands, and they defeated them. And Israel took possession of all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that land. Thus they occupied all the territory of the Amorites, from the Arnon to the Yabbok, from the wilderness to the Jordan. Now then, the Lord God of Israel dispossessed the Amorites before his people, Israel. Should you possess their land? Do not hold what Chemosh, your God, gives you to possess. So we will hold on to everything that the Lord our God has given us to possess. Besides, are you any better than Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he start a quarrel with Israel or go to war with them? While Israel had been occupying Heshbon and its dependencies, and Aror and its dependencies, and all the towns along the Arnon for 300 years, why have you not tried to recover them all the time? I have done you no wrong, yet you are doing me harm and making war on me. May the Lord who judges decide today between the Israelites, the children of Israel, and the Ammonites. But the king of the Ammonites paid no heed to the peaceful message that Jephthah sent to him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he marched through Gilead and Manasseh, passing Mitzpeh of Gilead, on from Mitzpeh to Gilead. He crossed over to the Ammonites, and Jephthah made the following vow to Lord. If you deliver the Ammonites into my hands, then whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me on my safe return from the Ammonites shall be the Lord's, and shall be offered by me as a burnt offering. And there's a blank, because his daughter comes out of that door. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol ha'olamim, tzaddik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'neviim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen.
Amen.
Chazak. Right. Anyone would think you've done that before.
I told that story.
You've told that story before. What happens to the unfortunate daughter?
We're left to think about that.
Yes, we're stuck in this limbo, not knowing really what is done to this love, the idea of this child coming out and being effectively what he has sworn an oath to make as a burnt offering, Holocaust offering. And how can we then be held to that? But if you've made that oath, that is your oath. That's the difficulty. What a paradox and what a dilemma.
Be careful with what you promise.
Yes, and don't make oaths. That's perhaps one of the themes, the morals of this section. We rise in the presence of Torah. Ken, if you would come forward. And we turn to page 376 and onwards to share the blessing for the country and the blessing for Israel. 376 and the blessing for the country, which is a slightly modified version.
Let us bless our country of Australia and all its people. Let us have dreams in this historic land of dreamers. Let the hot winds from the desert fire our imagination. Let the red soil of the plains keep us rooted to the things that matter. Let the waters of our rivers, lakes and oceans flow into our hearts, giving us depth and understanding. Keep our eyes open to the beauty of this land, and may we strive to keep its beauty present and strong. Help us remember those who have lived in this land before us, and those who have made it their home in more recent times. May we never be lazy in the work for peace. May we honour those who have died in defence of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they lead with justice and compassion. Let our compassion be like the encompassing coastlines of our continent. May acceptance, kindness and peace live steadily within this ancient and enduring land. Amen.
Amen.
For the state of Israel, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who you love you prosper. Avinu Shebashamayim, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen. We return to the Torah to the Ark on page 374. 374. יעללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירא את קרן לעמוד, תהילה לבוד חזינה, מבני ישראל אחרות. הללויה, הללויה, כי לקח טוב נתתי לכם, תורתי אל תעזבו, את חיימי למחזיקים בך, ותומכיה מאושר, דרכיה דרכי נועם, וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך, ונשובה חדשה And so we are in Parashat Chukat. I must admit this is a difficult parashat to talk about. On the one hand, there are some very low-hanging fruit. It's relatively easy to talk about some of the issues here, but ultimately there are some core portions here that we just truly do not understand. Perhaps I should say I do not understand. So yesterday morning I got a call first thing in the morning, around 8:30 or so, something like that, telling me that someone was dying and could I go visit them. I had buried this person's son, and that this person was now dying. Could I go and visit him in Sandringham Hospital? So of course the first answer is yes, of course I'll be there as soon as I possibly can. And the second call is to Rhonda saying, please shuffle my calendar around and make everyone fit somewhere else because I have to now go to the hospital. And I popped down to the hospital and I visited with this person whose birthday was yesterday and who died yesterday. 98 years old. Not a bad innings. And so this Torah portion tells us how to purify ourselves when we have been in contact with the dead. And this is the story of Red Heifer. How many of you have seen the series on, I think it was on Netflix, called Dig, which was about the red heifer, right? Many of you saw that. I could see a couple of people. It was actually a fascinating series. It was cancelled, I think. Did it have one season, I think, from memory? Or I don't remember how many seasons. In any case, it was fascinating because it was actually not just ultra-Orthodox Jews who were trying to recreate the red heifer, but it was also evangelical Christians. So the red heifer, what is the red heifer? The red heifer is a cow that has not got a single non-red hair. A couple of months ago they found one that had 3 white hairs. Can you imagine? And they found them. They found 3 white hairs.
Couldn't they pluck them out?
Sorry, say again?
Couldn't they pluck them out?
Couldn't they pluck them out? I recommended henna. Some henna dye. The rules are that it has to be a completely red. I think Rabbi John Levi is just going, oh my God, did he really say that? The idea of the red heifer is it has to be a completely red cow that has never felt the yoke, that has never carried a burden. And the concept is that the red heifer will be used as an animal sacrifices, and the ashes from the red heifer will be used to purify all of us who are impure due to contact with life force. Contact with life force is any contact with life and death, whether it's a corpse, but it's just as much contact with blood. So if you have a paper cut, you have bled. Blood is life. Blood is also, the lack of blood is also death. So therefore, anytime we have a paper cut or we bleed in any way, which includes, by the way, menstruation, we are immediately considered impure for the purpose of temple sacrifice. Notice I say that it's really important to understand that, because otherwise you end up with this misnomer that someone, for example, who menstruates is unclean. That is a mistranslation, and it has caused no end of harm. And it's wrong. It means when I have a paper cut, I'm just as unclean as someone who menstruates. It's not unclean, it is impure for the purpose of sacrifice in the temple. Now, anyone here in a hurry to do a sacrifice this afternoon? Just checking, right? So the idea of sacrifice is purely in the temple. And last I checked, anyone seen a temple recently? Well, here we are in the temple, right? And part of the reason why we called this synagogue, and this I have to refer to Rabbi John Levi, who's in the room, part of the reason why the progressive movement has historically called our synagogues temples is because we don't necessarily want to recreate a temple in Jerusalem, and this is our temple which replaces the temple in Jerusalem. Is that a fair description? Okay, good. I thank you for not contradicting me while I'm giving the sermon. We can have a discussion straight after the service. Excellent. So the idea was that for the Orthodox world, as soon as the destruction of the temple occurred, there was the hope that the rest of the prophecy will be fulfilled, and the rest of the prophecy was that the temple would be rebuilt, and that would be the third temple, which of course would be, along with who would rebuild the third temple? Any takers? Mashiach, 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 the Messianic coming, or the Messianic era. Either one would be acceptable, so the Messianic era or the Messiah, we don't really know which. And what's fascinating is the Muslims who do not believe in the Jewish Messiah built a cemetery on the entrance to the old city so that the Mashiach could not go through the cemetery because they mistook the Mashiach for one of the Kohanim. The Mashiach isn't necessarily one of the Kohanim, and of course the Kohanim aren't allowed to go into a cemetery unless it's their own mother or father or family member. And so a group of people who didn't believe in the Jewish Messiah chose to build a cemetery in order to stop the Messiah. It's interesting how that paradox, that contradiction functions. You know, there's ironies in that model. So the red heifer is the idea of we are all tamemet, we are all impure according to the laws of post-temple, because we no longer had the ashes of the red heifer, we were no longer able to become pure, therefore we were no longer pure for the sake of animal sacrifice. So what do we do with this rule? Right? Question number one, do we want a temple? Right? In itself, even the Orthodox could say, yes, of course we want a temple, but then they put boundary after boundary after boundary, obstruction after obstruction after obstruction, in order for us never to have a temple. Because if you have a temple, what do you have to do? Animal sacrifices. Do we want to have animal sacrifices? Right? It's been 2,000 years since we've had a temple and done animal sacrifices, and just like Akedat Yitzchak was the rejection of human sacrifice and infanticide, so too the transition at the destruction of the temple was to a different form of worship, which was prayer, what we do here. The question then becomes, do we really want to go back 2,000 years and reinstitute animal sacrifice? Most of us would say no, even though I say it's a great Australian tradition, because the sacrificial rite was effectively a barbecue. Right? You would slaughter the animal, you would burn the offal, and a piece would then be barbecued and given to the priest, the Kohen, a piece to the Levites, and the rest was eaten by the person or the family of the person who had made the sacrifice. Nothing wrong with a good barbecue. Who doesn't like a good barbecue, right? Right? So part of the sacrifices were effectively a barbecue. Right? But I'm not sure that is the way that we today in modern times feel our relationship to God. So again, the question is, what do we do with this arcane law? A very unsatisfying answer from an Orthodox commentary that I read while I was thinking about this was effectively, God loves us, God gives us rules, suck it up and do them. The commentary didn't use that terminology. But basically, that was the gist of the Orthodox commentary. Do you find that satisfying? Right. I find that wholly unsatisfying. But unfortunately, when you have rules which are without explanation, we struggle to find, well, what do we do with this? Another part of that same commentary says, the law of the red cow is described by the sages as quintessential chukat haTorah, decree of the Torah, meaning that it is beyond human understanding, because, and this is where it gets interesting, because Satan and the nations taunt Israel, saying, what is the purpose of this commandment? And the Torah states that it is a decree of the one who gave the Torah, and it's not for anyone to question it. That's according to Rashi. And then the commentary goes on. That doesn't help us. Well, it doesn't help me find a satisfying answer. Jonathan Sachs gave a sermon on this subject, which I found vastly more interesting and engaging. That this parasha is about morality, because we read about the death of two of Israel's three great leaders in the wilderness. Miriam and Aaron died during this Torah portion. And also the sentence of death decreed against Moshe. Part of the story is that the people complain that they have no water, and Moses strikes the rock twice. Instead of just calling upon the water to come out of the rock, he strikes the rock in anger, and for that he is punished and does not get to go into the land of Israel. So there's a sense that the remedy exists before the ailment, which is that the cure for the ailment is brought about chronologically backwards. The red heifer is ordained before the death for which it was to be used. So, Jonathan Sachs talks about how the red heifer is the most striking symbol of life. Its hair is the color of blood, which is the source of life, and it has never been made to endure a yoke. Yet it is burnt and sacrificed and reduced to ash. So the mortality, the fate of all our lives. So Abraham says, we are mere dust and ashes. And God says, dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And yet the dust of the red heifer is dissolved in water. And the water is the source of life. And from water comes new life, whether it's watering the garden or our need for water. And water is constantly changing. This is Jonathan Sachs I'm citing now. We never step into the same river twice, said Heraclitus. Yet the river maintains its course between the banks, and the water changes, but the river remains. And so we as physical beings may one day be reduced to dust. But there are two consolations. The first is that we are not just physical beings. God made the first human from dust of the earth, but God breathed into Adam and Chava the breath of life. We may be mortal, but there is something within us that is immortal. And so while Ecclesiastes says, the dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns to God who gave it. The second point is that even here on earth, something of us lives on, as it did for Aaron, in the form of his sons, who carried the name of the priesthood to this day. So anyone here who's related or called Cohen, or even the Levites, and the rest who are not Kohanim and Levites are of Israel. And so as it did for Moshe in the form of Moses' disciples, who studied and continued to live by the words of Moses throughout to this day, that would be us looking at this text, using the words of the Torah in our liturgy, and reading from Torah. And so too for Miriam in the lives of all those women who by their courage taught men the true meaning of faith. For good or bad, our lives have an impact on other lives, and the ripples of our deeds spread ever outward across space and time, we are part of the undying river of life. An interesting take on what to do with this Torah portion. So, this parasha Chukat leaves us with the laurels of the red heifer, the death of Miriam, the death of Aaron, the decree against Moses, and also a whole series of conflicts, and leaves us with what do we do with the temple, and how do we redefine our relationship with God moving forward. You can't find a more fundamental Torah portion throughout the Torah. And so my invitation to you, if we do not wish to reinstitute a temple and the animal sacrifice, what do we want to do? Not what do we, but what do each of us individually, what do I want to have as my relationship with God, my relationship with the Jewish people, and my relationship with my personal family, who are the natural extension. So the first part is my brothers, my sisters, my parents, my family, my people, my community, my wider community, the Melbourne community, the Jewish people, the state. What do I want that relationship to look like? And how does this text, how does the Torah address that? While I have no answers, I do believe that Jonathan Sacks speaks very wisely in recognizing that we never enter the same river twice, and yet the river is always there. It is up to us to recognize that the world was created just for us. And in one pocket, the Hasidic master said, we should keep a piece of paper that says the world was created just for you. And in the other pocket, we should keep a piece of paper that says, from dust you were made and to dust you shall return. And those two need to be in balance between the ego of the world being created for us and the humility of recognizing that we return to dust. And then within that, the question becomes, what do we do with a tradition such as the red heifer and the temple, the reconstruction of the temple? I think our movement says we look to each generation to redefine how that is used, and you'll find in our prayer book and in our new Matzor that is arriving, I don't know if Rabbi John Levi has heard this, but on or around the 3rd or 4th of August. In this prayer book, we revisit the question of the Messianic era. I would invite you to read this Torah portion. Look at the depth of meaning within life and death, and look at what we can make of this. May it be God's will that we actually access Torah and engage with Torah and grapple with Torah from day to day. Shabbat Shalom. We return to Aleinu on page 586. 586. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עזנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We remain standing for a few more moments as we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This Shabbat, we think of those in the period of Shiva. We think of Deborah Freelander. We also think of Mordechai Abramson, who died yesterday on his 98th birthday and will be buried in the next few days. We think of those in a period of Shloshim, of Tessa Diamond, of Rob Hill, Edna May, Gerald Morton, Robert Phillip, Leonard Roebuck, Maud Solomon, and Margaret Swatlow. And we think of the yahrzeits that fall on this Shabbat. We think of Anna Balin, Fischel Bock, Shirley County, Sarah Cowan, Rebecca Joan Eilenberg, Harry Gomer, Stephen Gorham, Alice Hurst, Hal Levi, Ian Jordan, David Barry Josephs, Benjamin Katz, Elizabeth Magid, Leslie Pallig, Leon Rosmarin, Joseph Silberstein, Esther Sinclair, Solly Solomon, Irene Strauss, Betty Sussman, Viv Swinnerton, Dov Urban, Ben Bellin, and Sarah Zilberstein. If I've mispronounced any of these names, or if there are names that you would like to add to this list, please do so as I look around the room. Zichronam livracha, may their memories truly be for a blessing as we turn to page 598 and the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba, v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman karim v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam kulal me'almaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום בברומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and to all of humanity. And we say, Amen. Please be seated as Rebecca Silk, our president, shares a few announcements from the Board of Governors.
Thank you very much, Cantor, and thank you, Ari, Joel, and the Ruach Choir for your liturgy this morning. Your music really enlivens our prayer. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone from the board. Mostly we are here as our regular congregants. Very warm welcome, and welcome to visitors as well, and to those who are here in memory of a loved one. Lovely to have you here with us. A few announcements. Our activities through the week you'll see on your Kol Israel sheet. Quite a number of regular activities are on holidays for the school holidays at the moment. Next Shabbat, there will be our Emmy Monash service on Friday, which is July the 12th. We're changing to the second and the fourth Friday of the month at Emmy, so that means that there will be a service on Friday. Then our Erev Shabbat and Shabbat morning services will be as usual, and do join us next Shabbat morning with the Harrison family as Madison becomes Bat Mitzvah. Then on Sunday the 14th of July, the men's group will be meeting as it's the third Sunday, and do talk to one of us or contact the office for the location and details. Coming up the following week, the next Hinenu service, our alternative Kabbalat Shabbat and Mariv service in the Friedlander. That will be at 6 p.m. on the 19th of July. And then on that same evening, next door, our group for 20s and 30s younger people, they will be having a mid-winter games night. They will be enjoying, it says here, matzo ball soup and hot chocolate, and the dress code is apparently pyjamas. Later on in July, I just want to remind you that the board is holding 2 member forums. We would like to be talking to all of you, all our congregation, about ideas for this building here, the kindergarten space, which is being vacated by the King David School at the end of the year. So do please come and join in the conversation with us. We would like to share ideas and think about the future and the best use of that building. And we're very thrilled that Alan Grossbard will be moderating that session. I would like to thank Dot for being our shamash this morning. I'd like to thank my fellow board members, Nicola and Judy, for being here and helping out. And thank you to Caroline and Rena for laying for us. Do please thank our security volunteers on your way out, and join us for Kiddush in the Sloan Hall after the final song. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rebecca. And we do conclude with the words of Yom Zeh Yisrael, which you will find on page 634, 634. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Tivita Pekudim B'Ma'avad Har Sinai, Shabbat Moadim, Lishmor B'chol Shalai, La'aroch Levanai, Maseh Barucha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Kidashta v'rachta, Oto mikol yamin, V'sheshet gilita, Melechet olamim, Omato alumim, Ashketu bitcha. Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora V'Simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Shabbat Shalom, and join us in the Sloan Hall for Kiddush. If you'll join us in the Sloan Hall, we'll begin with Kiddush and Motzi. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש על כן ברך את יום השבת ויקדשהו Sabri Maranan, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen Lechaim. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom and Betavon. Bon appétit. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
What's the name of the film about the red heifer?